Boom. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Thursday to you all, and welcome to another live beer review. So today we're going to be taking a look at another beer from, I guess you can say, probably my favorite brewery of all time. I guess I've pretty much stated that plenty of times now before, but we got a not so in my wheelhouse kind of style of beer from them too, because of course you guys always know I drink a lot of IPAs from them, a lot of stouts from them, but I've never had this kind of style of beer from them I enjoy it, but it's not something that I usually drink all the damn time. So we got a Helles Lager today from Adroit Theory, and this is from their music genre themed line where each beer is named after a different genre of music, mostly metal, classic rock, all that kind of stuff. But today we're going to be taking a look at the thrash metal Helles Lager. It's a 4.8% ABV, and yeah, it's pretty much, I guess, a Helles Lager. You can kind of have it in similar characteristics to your normal lager. It definitely has characteristics of your Oktoberfests, all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely going to be light, crisp, a little bit of a biscuity, bready kind of note to it. But I'm overall super excited for this one, just because it's a nice, easy drinking beer for just the chill and back and just relax for the afternoon. But yeah, I'm hoping this is going to be super refreshing because I'm a little parched. So I'm hoping this is something that will quench the palate a little bit. So without further ado, let's crack this guy open and see what this thing is all about. What do we get on the nose? Oh yeah, very, very like light and crisp. Almost getting like a biscuity forward on the nose. Definitely getting like a breadiness. Yeah, it smells like your normal Helles lager, which smells delicious. So without further ado, let's pour this guy. Drinking out of my boy, New Texican Brewing Company pint glass today. If you ever want to get some beers from him, you could always hit him up on Instagram. He's always willing to sell. He has a bunch of different varieties of stuff if you want to pick up any beers from New Texican, and he'll ship everywhere in the States. So let's pour this guy and see what this thing's all about. I'm expecting it to be pretty crystal clean in color, nice pillowy head. But yeah, definitely looks pretty damn clear. And just I'm expecting some nice kind of like sweetness to it from the malts, nice biscuity notes to it. But look at that. That looks like, yeah. Looks like a nice, crisp, clean lager. You can definitely see through it, that's for sure. Still getting a lot of nice kind of bready, like almost like a little bit of a sweetness. Yeah, it smells absolutely delicious. So without further ado, let's give this guy a try. So cheers, everybody. Happy Thursday. Oh yeah, that's super refreshing. Wow. Right off the bat, you're getting that biscuity breadiness that you would expect from that kind of thing. There's actually a lot more of like a drier, bitter kind of on the end that I wasn't expecting. Definitely the bitterness kind of is there for a second, and then it kind of gets washed away with like almost like a biscuity, caramelly sweetness a little bit. But yeah, very, very like effervescent, very, very, very crisp and refreshing. And it's overall, for being at 4.8%, I would definitely consider this sessionable for sure. And yeah, it's delicious. Definitely isn't something I would usually go to every day and drink, just because I would rather get a different kind of style of beer than your normal Helles lager. But overall, this is still pretty solid. This is definitely something you would drink on like a warm day in the summer, like out in the water, kind of thing, where you want some crisp, refreshing. That would, like, if you're sitting outside in the warm. But overall, let's look here on Untappd and see what they consider similar beers to this one. So, of course, if you can't get your hands on anything from Adroit Theory, Untappd likes to do a thing to where they like to suggest similar beers to this style. And, of course, this one's very interesting since it's a Helles lager and it's more of a German-oriented kind of style of lager. They have a lot of German breweries on here, to where I can't pronounce the names of these guys, and I'm assuming that they're all breweries almost out of Germany. I know there's one on here that's out of Brazil, but a lot of these are in different languages. And look, there's one here that looks like it's a home brew called Sex Hell. it's a German lager, but all of these are like definitely all kinds of like lagers considered like Helles lagers and all that kind of stuff. So overall, trying to find a similar beer to this one. Of course, a good introductory to anything kind of style, this kind of style. When it comes to this kind of style lager, look for your little average Oktoberfest if you're into that. It has a nice sweetness to it. This one definitely doesn't have as much of a sweetness as your normal Oktoberfest would, but having those bready, biscuity notes, it's still there. This definitely has more of bitterness, more like there's a little bit of you can taste that hopped kind of bitterness in there. But then there's a nice crisp sweetness that kind of comes around. I don't want to say there's any like fruit notes in this. Maybe like an apple or something like that, but I don't want to say they're getting like apple notes at all. But the biscuitiness is there. The bitterness from the hop is there. There's a nice like malty, almost sweetness that goes through, and it's just still a really, really solid Helles lager. I wouldn't consider this like a go-to for me, but overall, just to have a nice kind of simple drink, yeah, it's pretty damn solid. So let's look here, and if you want to find anything similar to this, of course, your Oktoberfest, like I said, would give you kind of similar like flavor profiles. But then, of course, if you want to look at like your more like mainstream lagers, it may not. You're going to get some of those similar flavors, but then you're going to kind of notice when it's a craft brewery making that kind of lager, you're going to definitely get more bitterness. You're definitely going to. There's definitely going to be more of like a different kind of aromas, different flavors than just like your everyday grocery store lager, to where it would kind of taste watered down and it just tastes like what somebody who doesn't drink beer says tastes like beer. This is probably the closest to that realm of somebody who doesn't like beer kind of figuring out what beer tastes like, this is going to kind of be the similar taste to it. But overall, it's still pretty solid. So let's look here and see what the description of this guy is and what the ratings are. So, if, like I said before, it's a 4.8% ABV, which I would definitely consider this guy sessionable for sure. And with over 861 ratings, this one has an average rating of 3.64 out of 5, which is not bad. For Helles Lager, you definitely don't see a lot of these kind of styles of beers with like that 4 and above kind of rating on tap, just because they're your like average run-of-the-mill everyday kind of style of beers. But it's still delicious. So let's look what they say in the description. So the description of this guy says crisp, clean, and refreshing with a slight biscuit notes from the decoction. Clear, pale golden body with a pillowy head. Yeah, really your average kind of description you get with this guy, of course. And looking here on my friends list, let's see if there's anybody who checked this one. I'm assuming there's only one person checked this one, which is my father. He checked this one in back in August, and he gave it a 3.5 out of 5, which, yeah, I think it's going to be kind of around that same realm. I'm going to get, like I said, there's nothing like revolutionary about this kind of style lager. It's just a nice, easy drinking beer, and that's what this one is all about. And of course, he purchased it off Tavor, which is how we got our hands on this. And let's see what the global ratings are saying about this one. Okay, so let's see. This guy gave it a 3.25. We got a 4 rating. Purchased at Crescent Wine and Spirits, which is in where is that? Bowie. I'm thinking Maryland. Yeah, it looks like Maryland. What else we got here? We got another 3.5. We got a 3.75. And okay, so this guy gave it a 4.25, saying everything that a Helles should be and more. Perfect balance, sweet, malty, yeasty. Another home run from Adroit. Yeah, this guy kind of gave it a nice kind of kick on the head. Of course, I'm not really getting like that extra more that I would expect from a nice kind of Helles lager, but it's really well balanced. It's sweet, it's malty, definitely has a nice bitterness from the hops, but it's not like your average kind of like bringing off different notes like how a hops would be in like an IPA. You're not going to get really much of a citrusiness. It just brings off more of a dry bitterness to it. Like you can definitely tell the hops flavors in there. But let's see what else we got here. We'll read one more. Okay, this guy gave it a 4.25. Say you don't get a Helles much better than this. Biscuity, bready, sweet, light, and crisp. Awesome approach to the style. Thanks, Dave H, as always, for the high quality share. So yeah, these guys kind of checked in with each other and kind of had the same opinion. So looking at that, they must have been okay. So yeah, these guys were friends and they both checked it in at the same time. So let's start trying to figure out what we're going to be doing for ratings over here. Because, yeah, this beer is pretty solid. So let's figure out our ratings for this guy. And of course, we always like to look at can art. Pour the rest of this in. And I'm going to be completely honest here. This is probably one of my favorite can arts I've seen from Adroit. Just because I really like what they're doing when it comes to that metal theme. And when it like how I mean, where it's like all their can arts have like a metalish kind of theme to where it's like dark, like has a lot of detail in it. But this one has that look. It's like a similar punk rocky kind of feel. Of course, there's definitely it's like the label of it. Of course, you get like that thrash metal logo. But if you look in the background, there's like a bunch of snips of like different like posters, like old fashioned black and white posters you would see. And like front of like music venues and stuff. Of course, you could see that little spot where they took apart from like a Slayer one. And then there's like a bunch of different like more detailed things. I really like it. If you look closely, it's like it was printed on there, so it's like all the hands and stuff for like a lot of dots in some spots. But they took advantage of all the real estate on there. Of course, having the Adroit logo like that, having the T in the theory, having the upside down cross thing, I think is a really cool touch. But overall, yeah, the label on this beer is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Definitely, in my opinion, I'm going to give this a full 5 out of 5 for can art. Really cool. I just like, you don't see stuff like this that often. If I saw this at a liquor store or a bottle shop, instantly catch my attention. I would see this one from the other side of the frickin' room and go over there and look at it. Because it's frickin' awesome. So, yeah, easy 5 out of 5 for me for can art. So, let's see. If I got this beer in a flight at Adroit Theory, would I get another one? Like I said, it's good. I'm not going to give any, like, I don't want to say I'm missing anything to this when it comes to this one. But like I said, it's not the usual kind of style I go to if I had a beer in a brewery. Sure, if I got it in a flight, I'd have probably a flight glass of it. But then I would probably be like, okay, I'm going to have like an IPA or a stout for them. This kind of style of beer wouldn't be my go-to if I had it in a flight to make sure I had another one in a full-size glass. But overall, it's still a really, really solid beer. I just probably wouldn't get another one of these. It's just, that doesn't mean it's a bad beer. But of course, let's see. What is the final rating on this guy going to be for me? Let's see here. So, like I said, it's very delicious. Definitely has those lager aspects that I do enjoy. Biscuitiness, breadiness, has that nice kind of bitterness to round everything out. Doesn't make it too sweet or anything like that. So overall, really, really well balanced. I'm going to give him credit for that. It's definitely a really, really nice Helles lager. But like I said before, it's not going to be that kind of style that I go to that often, just because it's what is it? It's not the kind of beer that I'm going to search for, even though I will drink it from time to time. But overall, yeah, if you're a fan of lighter, crisp beers, you might be a fan of this one. Definitely has a lot of just like more of those lighter notes, crisp. It's a lot more refreshing. This is like your average kind of beer that I would kind of describe where you're sitting outside on a hot summer day and just looking for something light and clean to kind of just down really quick. This is something that I would put right up there. If you're looking for just your kind of light kind of drinking beer, this would definitely be one of the first ones I put on the list, because it hits all those notes of being just absolutely refreshing and delicious. So, with that being said, I think I'm going to give this like a 6.75 out of 10. I think so. 6.75 to me is good. Definitely is a lot better than a lot of the Helles lagers I've had out there. There's still a nice balance of bitterness. Of course, but overall, like I said, it's not that kind of style that's I'm going to lean towards often. Just because I'm giving it a 6.675 out of 10 doesn't mean it's a bad beer. It's just not my go-to style. Even though the beer is delicious and it is exactly what it's meant to be, it's not going to be a go-to for me, and it's not going to really get to that point where I'm going to give it a fantastic rating. But it's still a really good beer. So, with that being said, let's see what else do I have. I think that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So thank everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are awesome. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button. It would help me out a lot. And if you're new to the channel, like we see, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well, along with the notification bell. It'll let you know when I ever go live to another review. And of course, if you're wanting to possibly get your hands on more things from Adroit Theory, you can order from their website now. They're doing, I believe they're doing a lot of new pre-orders now. And they've promoted that they'll ship to at least 48 out of the 50 states now. So you can go on to Adroit Theory's website, which is down in the description below, and order some pre-orders for their stuff. Sometimes it takes a little bit for that stuff to ship, just because they're still pre-orders and they're still taking orders until that pre-order date is up, and they're a little bit short-staffed at the moment. So just give them some time. But you will get your beer in good shape and everything like that. So, of course, ordering directly from Adroit Theory is always a good option. But then, if you want to take advantage of Tavour, if you're already using Tavour, Adroit Theory shows up on there pretty often as well. So you can get stuff from Adroit Theory on Tavour. But last but not least, if you're looking for a social media platform when it comes to beer drinking, if you enjoy drinking craft beer on the regular, I know we just got a new guy onto Untapped yesterday, Mr. Face Meat. I can't wait to see what else you're going to start posting on there. I'm pretty damn excited. But yeah, you can see people like me on there, Kentucky, Ian's on there, Duchess, Dixon's on there, Graham. So many of us are on Untapped just checking the beers, having a good time. It's a really, really cool platform. You can use it on Android, iPhone, or you can even use it through your desktop if you're sitting at a computer all day. It's just really, really fun. But other than that, I think that is pretty much what I have for you guys today. So since I haven't done this in a while, and since it's a nice, easy drinking beer that I could probably do this a lot quicker than I usually do, I think we're about to do the normal Thursday thing before we get the hot out of here. So I'm going to say this before we get this thing done, like I always say. If you're going to drink responsibly, don't drink and drive, and let's do this. Cheers, everybody, and I'll see y'all next time. See ya.